Then this one, rusty statues aren't all that bad. And then it talks about what some of the student reactions were to the statues. So they started giving some visibility to the statues on the campus. I'm not sure if this is yours or not, Rick, but, well, anyway. So then Keith wrote a letter to the editor, even though he was the editor. And he said all of these things about how he didn't like the statues and signed it the Philistine. So these things all occurred in the first 2 or 3 papers. Then there was a response. Let the Philistine scream about the art of the Buchanan quadrangle, let them retch, let the tears flow, I like them, signed Dally. Which may or may not have been Keith again. So then we decided, after the statues had been in place for about a month and received a fair amount of publicity, then we decided it was time to put them out of their misery. So we put a big sign up in front of Engineering 201. Does anybody remember what the sign said? What was the name of the stunt? It was a sledgehammer stunt. And so we asked everyone to bring a sledgehammer who could get one. And at least a dozen engineers brought sledgehammers the next day. It was a Wednesday. No, it was a Wednesday. The newspaper came out on Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. So we wanted to smash them on Wednesday, get in the paper on Thursday. Pardon? I know, but the dates on the paper don't lie. So trust me, it was a Wednesday.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, I know. No, everything you read in the newspaper is true. Otherwise it wouldn't be the newspaper, right? So, anyway, so on the Wednesday, we went out and we started smashing the statues. The interesting thing about Colin's statue is that he had welded it so well, we couldn't do much damage to it, so we had to get Big Bill McLaughlin, who was, I don't know, 7'9" or something. Very, very big guy. He was a logger in New Zealand. And he took one of the sledgehammers and he finally managed to beat Colin's welded steel structure into submission. There we are, we're having a vote. We put all the statues to a vote as to whether we'd smash them or not. And so we're putting that to a vote. And then over here, I think we've got...
Dennis Hoffer.
Dennis Hoffer, yeah. Hoffer, smashing it. And over here, I think, is that you, Colin? Smashing one of those. And then you can see various other pictures. I think that's Gopher down the bottom. Smashing all these statues with, you can see a lot of other students around witnessing this happening. And then the next day, Thursday, this came out. Engineer smashed sculpture with sledgehammers and chain. There's a picture of me on the front page of the UBC. I think that's Del Holbrook on the left, and I can't make out the others. And there's C.V. Chung taking a picture of it.
Bamboo engineer.
Yeah. So anyway, so this was a headline in the paper. And so this comes out around noon on Thursday. And my first class after lunch hour on Thursday was a statistics class taught by a really, truly wonderful guy named Dave Ormrod. Just a prince of a man. And I walked into the class and he came in and he stood up at the front and he said, "This class will not start until Mr. Whitelaw has left the room." He said, "What you did was so reprehensible that I cannot stand to look at your face while I'm lecturing, and I want you to leave the room." So I got up and I sort of faked this guilty look and slunk out of the room. So the next thing that happened was Peter Shepard, who was the U.S. president at the time, and I got a call from the dean. And Miss Kastner called and said, "The dean would like to see you and Peter right away." So we went up and we sat down in the dean's office, and the dean looked at us and he said, "Okay, I just have one question. I've been getting a lot of calls from the other deans, and should I be apologizing, or should you want me to just string them along?" He was a wonderful dean. He was a great guy. And so we said, "You're probably pretty safe stringing him along." So we were about to leave and the phone rang, and Miss Kastner says, "It's one of the other deans, I think the Dean of Science. Dean so-and-so's on the phone." So this is what we hear. "Hello? Yes, no, terrible. Oh yeah, terrible. Oh no, boys will be boys." and then we hear. Then he says, "Well, I'll give them a good talking to." Then we hear. He said, No, I don't think that's necessary. No, I'll get back to you. I'll look into it and get back to you." So he hangs up and he says, "The dean wants to have you expelled." So we had a good laugh over that. Shepard was a little nervous. But, so anyway, the next day, the paper comes out. This is the same day. Statutory rape. And this is an outraged, so-called outraged editorial by the UBC, decrying this stunt that the engineers had pulled. And the undergraduate engineers have shown themselves to be incapable of accepting the responsibility given them. And so here's this scathing thing, everybody's all upset. Then the next day, on Friday, out comes the paper. Suddenly everyone liked the statues, and they unveiled the fact that we had built the statues in the first place. And they showed pictures of us, the pictures I just showed you, building the statues as proof that we had done it. And, oops, that's it. And then down here, the headline in the editorials was, "You was hoaxed." But over here are the letters that had come in overnight. "Hold the EUS legally responsible for wrecking the statues." And here are all these irate letters that had been written to the UBC demanding that we be sued or taken to court or fined or something else. And so that's the end of it. That's what happened. We had a great time doing it. We laughed very hard, many times. A tremendous number of people helped out on this thing. And so what I'd like to do now is, first of all, ask, does anybody have any questions? And then secondly, I'd like to ask some of the people who are in this room and your unindicted co-conspirators, if they have any recollections of what we did.
Never done any stunts since.
You mean since I left engineering? Because I was in third year at this time. So we did a few after that.
What, a week?
What a week, yeah.
Has that stunt ever been done again anywhere else?
Yes, it has.
Well, it's been done in various forms, yeah. We copied it the following year. We challenged the forestry students to a tree chopping contest. And we started in front of the library and we said, go and find a tree that you think you can get away with cutting down and chop it down. And they went charging off to the endowment lands, and we just walked across the quadrangle, and there was a tree right in front of the library, and we chopped it down. And we had planted it there the night before. But, it's basically the same stunt.
You do this once a year, you mean?
Yeah, well, sometimes you can fool them twice.